Once upon a time, two friends joined forces to bring you the best in horror entertainment. Brian from the north, Tim from the south, each bringing their own unique perspective to the horror community. Movie reviews, Blu-ray releases, beer pairings, games, and more. Welcome to your new home for horror. This is Civil Gore.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Civil Gore Podcast. I'm your host, Tim, and you may not hear Brian's voice because I'm flying solo today. Brian is still in the middle of his move, unfortunately, so he doesn't have a place to even set up to record. So we are having to make do, and I'm going to take this on by myself, the May Discmemberment this month. Now, this is fortunately a short month, so I won't have to carry too big a load without Brian here. But hopefully this will get you guys prepared for all the great horror Blu-rays that are coming this month. And maybe you'll see something you like. I will say there's quite a few on here that I haven't seen that I'm really wanting to check out. So I'll mention those in passing as we go through these. So first up, May 2nd. We only have one release this week, which is kind of rare. And this, of course, would be my pick of the week because it's the only release this week. And that's from Cauldron Films, and that is Frankenstein 80. Which actually came out in 1972, back when they put years in titles to instantly date it for some reason. When Professor Schwartz invents a new serum that helps transplant patients better accept their new organs, Dr. Frankenstein, played by Gordon Mitchell, quickly steals it to bring to life his greatest creation, Mosaic, Zero Papas. Once alive, Mosaic is uncontrollable and escapes from the lab nightly to solicit prostitutes and leave a trail of corpses across a city that only seems to baffle the police and create a wave of fear. This one looks quite gory for a Frankenstein film, and I kind of like the checking out all the alternate takes on the Frankenstein monster. I think they're interesting because Boris Karloff's creation was just so iconic that for many people, that's the only version of Frankenstein they can wrap their heads around. But I quite like trying to check out some of the alternate versions and see what other people have done, which were, in many cases, were much truer to the original novel, the portrayals that came later. So this one does have some great special features, has a new 2K restoration from the uncensored negative, Delilah Forever, the recorded memories of Delilah Di Lazzaro, Little Frankenstein's History of Italian Frankenstein Films with Domenico Monetti, an audio commentary by film historian Heather Drain, reversible Blu-ray wrap with alternate artwork, booklet on the limited edition only, a folded double-sided poster featuring new artwork by Putrid Matt and Justin Coffey, limited edition only. And finally, for the limited edition only, we have a high-quality slipcase with artwork by Justin Coffey. So that was it for May 2nd, Frankenstein 80. May 9th is one of the bigger weeks here, and this one has some pretty big releases for some films you may have watched recently. I am going to skip the first one because that's going to be my pick of the week. But coming up right behind it is from RLJ Entertainment, and that is Children of the Corn 2020. This is the kind of, I guess you could call it a reboot of the series, which is really an odd franchise in that it's based off, an original movie that really wasn't that great, which was itself based off of a Stephen King short story, not even a novel. And for some reason, this thing has just spawned multiple sequels. A lot of them direct to video. I don't know why this particular IP has been so prolific when none of the movies are actually any good. But for some reason, it just keeps popping up. And this is no exception. This one, even though it came out, or it's listed as 2020, it just came out recently for rental and streaming. The synopsis here is the film describes the events leading up to and including the massacre of the adults of a small town in Nebraska by their children after the adults' irresponsibility ruins the crop and the children's future. It does have some deleted scenes. I do want to see this one, even though it's gotten some really terrible, harsh reviews. But I think I'm for some reason, I'm just a sucker for this, even though I'm always disappointed. So I don't know. I guess I'm a glutton for punishment. Next up from Welgo USA, we have Unwelcome from 2022. Londoners Maya and Jamie, who escape their urban nightmare to the tranquility of rural Ireland, only to discover malevolent, murderous goblins lurking in the gnarled ancient wood at the foot of their new garden. This one actually looks really cool. This one, I love any kind of movies about like Irish folklore and leprechauns and fairies and wee folk, that kind of stuff. So this one is like a horror twist on that. It looks really well done. Has a behind-the-scenes featurette, making the Red Caps featurette, and an original trailer. Go check out the trailer for this one. I think you guys are going to like this one. Next up, from Massacre Video, coming from India, from 1994, we have Mahakal. A demon torments the family and friends of Anita in order to take revenge on his death, which was caused by her police officer father. The rest of the movie is how Anita tackles the demon with the help of her boyfriend. I saw this one referred to in the comments as an Indian Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't know how accurate that is, but it looks pretty wild. I've actually been getting into more Indian movies, not necessarily horror, but some of the stuff on Netflix, like RRR, which recently came out, that kind of stuff has been really, really entertaining. It's kind of opened up a whole new world of movies for me. So I really like checking out these Indian films. So I have not checked out Indian horror yet, though. So that's a new genre I need to kind of dive into a little bit. Last up here before our pick of the week, we had Massacre Video's Toxic Zombies, aka Blood Eaters. This was from 1980. After drug crops are sprayed with a chemical by a passing airplane, the growers of the crop are poisoned by the chemical and turned into zombie-like mutants. This one is about as expected. I haven't seen it, but I've seen the trailer, and it looks like what you would completely expect out of a low-budget 1980s zombies film. So take that for what you will. My pick of the week here is mainly because it's probably the most well-known of the releases this week. I have not finished watching it. I started watching it and enjoyed what I saw. I did read the novel. This is, of course, Knock at the Cabin by Universal Studios, which came out this year. While vacationing at a remote cabin, a young girl and her parents are taken hostage by 4 armed strangers who demand that the family make an unthinkable choice to avert the apocalypse. With limited access to the outside world, the family must decide what they believe before all is lost. Like I said, the book by Paul Tremblay is really, really good. I wasn't a fan of the ending, but I liked everything leading up to it. I don't know if the movie keeps the same ending or not, but I guess that remains to be seen once I finish watching it. I only got about halfway through it before I had to go on vacation. And, of course, this is an M. Night Shyamalan vehicle, so he's kind of enjoying a resurgence here lately. So, I think a good fit for his directing style, though, because this is one of those kind of twist ending type books. This has deleted scenes, They Need Some Time, Going to Church, Enjoying the Sun, and Leonard Explains, which are all featurettes. Chow Blaster infomercial. Enjoy an extended cut of the TV infomercial from the film that features an appearance by M. Night Shyamalan himself in a great little cameo. Choosing Wisely, behind the scenes of Knock at the Cabin. Examine what drew M. Night Shyamalan to adapt this terrifying story and how the relationships between characters were unlike any this ensemble cast had ever played before. Tools of the Apocalypse. Explore the creation of some of the film's most terrifying props and learn why they play such an important role in the story. Drawing a Picture. See how M. Night Shyamalan envisions his shots in advance of ever turning on the camera through his extensive use of storyboards. And Kristen Cui shines a light. Take a closer look at actress, I'm not sure. Look at actress Kristen Cui's dynamic performance as Wynn in her film debut. So I will say, what's his name that played Ron in Harry Potter? Rupert Grint. He is amazing in this. I've only seen again a little bit of it, but he was so good. Like, he blew me away when I saw who it was. I couldn't believe how great he was. So he's shaping up to be quite a great actor. So to recap the week of May 9th, we had Children of the Corn. This is the reboot from 2020. Unwelcome, 2022. Mahakal, an Indian horror from 1994. Toxic Zombies, a low-budget zombie thriller from 1980. And my pick of the week, Knock at the Cabin from this year. Moving right along to May 16th. We have a couple of... Actually, one double feature from Shout Factory is putting out a double feature of Conquest of Space from 1955 and I Married a Monster from Outer Space 1958. So that's a fun little double feature set from Shout Factory. For our regular editions here, I'm going to struggle with my pick of the week here. I'm kind of doing these on the fly because I didn't pick them out in advance. And this is only a 3-item release week. So none of these would be normally on my pick of the week list, but I think I'm going to go with this first one here. So I'll skip that one and go on to Epic Pictures' The Lake from 2022. When a mysterious monster rises from the Mekong River and attacks Boeing Khan, it cuts people off from the outside world. Officials and people in the area, including Chinese scientists who accidentally came to conduct research in Thailand, must be mobilized to catch this monster before it's too late. As noted, this is a a movie filmed in Thailand. Has behind-the-scenes featurette, deleted scenes, trailers, official trailer, original teaser, and dread trailers. It looks really well made. I love giant monster movies. This one looks like the special effects look great in this one. It just looks very cinematic. When I was looking at reviews, it did not get great reviews. So I'm kind of interested to see how the movie fails to deliver reviews-wise when the trailer just looks so incredible. So it's going to be one of those I think I'm going to have to watch myself to see what's going on there. But check out the trailer if you want to and see if that one strikes your interest. The next one up here is another one that for me, the reviews would not be kind because I'm not a fan of this genre. It's from Unearthed Films, and it's La Petite Mort 2, Nasty Tapes from 2014. Follow the owners of the infamous Maison de la Petite Mort during their daily work. After the shocking events in part 1, you'll never guess what the new owner, Monsieur Mathieu Maxime, is up to, torturing for money at its very worst. This one advertises itself as torture porn. I'm not a fan of that genre, even though there's plenty of franchises like the Hostel franchise and Saw franchise, which I've seen all of them, and I'll continue to watch them as they come out. But this is definitely not my favorite horror subgenre. This has a making of La Petite Mort 2, featurette, alternate scene, behind-the-scenes gallery, advert, and trailers. And last but not least, this is my pick of the week. I have not seen this movie, but it looks pretty interesting. It's got some pedigree behind it. This is coming out from Criterion, and it's called Targets. It's from 1968. This is a Peter Bogdanovich vehicle. He directed this one, of course, probably most famous for The Last Picture Show. And the synopsis here is: a quiet insurance agent Vietnam veteran murders his young wife, his mother, and a grocery delivery boy at home, and then initiates an afternoon shooting rampage from atop a Los Angeles area oil refinery. When the police respond and start to close in on him, he flees and resumes his shootings at a Reseda drive-in theater, where an aging horror film icon, played by Boris Karloff, is making a final promotional appearance before retirement. This one, sadly, looks more relevant today with all the mass shootings and stuff going on. It's kind of ahead of its time, I guess. It does have some great special features here. A new 2K restoration supervised by director Peter Bogdanovich. Audio commentary from 2003 featuring Bogdanovich. New interview with filmmaker Richard Linklater. Introduction to the film from 2003 by Bogdanovich. Excerpts from a 1983 interview with production designer Polly Platt. And an essay by critic Adam Naiman, and excerpts from an interview with Bogdanovich from Eric Sherman and Martin Rubin's 1969 book, The Director's Event, Interviews with 5 American Filmmakers. So that was our releases for the week of May 16th. We had The Lake from last year, which is a Thailand giant monster movie. La Petite Mort 2 Nasty Tapes, if you like some French torture porn. And my pick of the week, Criterion's release of Targets from 1968. Next up, from May 23rd, again, another short week. I'm telling you, this month is very light, even though it's a 5-week month. We only had 2 releases, and one of them was my easy pick of the week. The non-pick of the week here is from IFC Films, and it's called Consecration. Came out this year. After the alleged suicide of her priest brother, Grace travels to the remote Scottish convent where he fell to his death. Distrusting the church's account, she uncovers murder, sacrilege, and a disturbing truth about herself. This one looks really creepy. I really want to see this one. It looks very atmospheric, very kind of slow burn probably, but I think this one's going to be one that I really like. And I like movies set in nunneries and religious type horror, so I think this one will be pretty good. And it's not the typical demonic possession that you usually see in this setting, which I think is what kind of interested me about the trailer. And our pick of the week was an easy one. This was from RLJ Entertainment. That was VHS 99. I think this one got delayed from earlier in the year. Of course, came out last year, starring our great friend of the show, Emily Sweet, and great friend just personally. The description here is: witness a hellish vision of 1999 as social isolation, analog technology, and disturbing home videos fuse into a nightmare of found footage savagery. This is another great entry in the VHS franchise, which has been incredibly solid throughout. I mean, there's none of these that are bad. They're all really, really solid. I really like this last entry. I can't wait for the next one. It's just a great, great series. And this one has some great special features as well. It has an exclusive panel from Reed Pop's New York Comic Con, filmmaker commentary, deleted scenes, the Gawker's camera test and the making of Medusa, bloopers to hell and back storyboards, and location scouting. So this looks like a lot of fun, so check that one out. Again, just to recap, May 23rd, we had Consecration, which is a kind of religious horror, and my pick of the week, VHS 99. Wrapping things up at the end of May, we have some really nice box sets that may interest you. And a couple, actually this is a very solid week all around. I'm going to skip over my pick of the week, because that is a doozy, and go straight to Shout Factory's release of The People Under the Stairs 4K. This is, of course, from 1991. 2 adults and a juvenile burglar break into a house occupied by a homicidal couple and their captives. This is a classic, directed by Wes Craven. He has an audio commentary on here with Wes Craven as writer-director. Audio commentary with actors Brandon Adams, AJ Langer, Sean Whalen, and Jan Birch. House Mother, an interview with actress Wendy Roby. What Lies Beneath, interviews with special makeup effects artists Greg Nicotero, Howard Berger, and Robert Kurtzman. House of Horrors, an interview with director of photography Sandy Sissel. Setting the Score, an interview with composer Don Peake. Behind-the-scenes footage, vintage making-of featurette, theatrical trailer, TV spots, still galleries, original storyboards, and official stills. So, really packed disc there, and if you're a fan of that movie, which I haven't seen this one in a long time. I really haven't seen it in years and years and years. It's definitely due for a rewatch. I really need to rewatch this one. This one might be on my list to buy, just to do a good rewatch of it. And Shout Factory always puts out such amazing 4K discs, so I don't think you can go wrong with this one, even though it was not my pick of the week. There's another one here from Shout Factory, which I'll go ahead and go into since we're on the subject, and that is The Haunting 4K. This is a movie I'm not quite as much of a fan of. This was the 1999 version, and of course, The Haunting is considered one of the greatest haunted house movies of all time. The Haunting 4K is probably known as one of the most disappointing remakes of all time. I remember when it came out, it's just a CGI fest, and of course it's late 90s CGI, so it's not even good CGI, and it really took away a lot of the atmospheric terror that the original had by showing everything and by making all these CGI ghosts and stuff. It was really failed to capture anything about the spirit of the original. So that was quite disappointing. But, it is what it is. It's kind of, in a way, it has its charm. I remember I actually bought this on DVD after it came out because I guess because it was a little bit novel at the time, the CGI effects and stuff. And that's kind of why I purchased it. And because I was a fan of the original movie, it was kind of like having a piece of that, even though it wasn't the original. At least you had kind of the same storyline. So I admit to having owned this at one time, but I haven't watched it in probably since the early 2000s, and I don't really care to watch it again. But I'll read you the synopsis here. When Eleanor, Theo, and Luke decide to take part in a sleep study at a huge mansion, they get more than they bargained for when Dr. Marrow tells them of the house's ghostly past. Disc 1 is the 4K Blu-ray, and it has a 4K master of the film supervised by Jean Debont for Paramount Pictures. And Disc 2 has an interview with director Jean Debont, behind-the-scenes featurette, teaser trailer, and theatrical trailer. The third release here is one that easily could have been pick of the week, if not for the one I chose. And I don't think you can go wrong with either of these next two that I'm going to tell you about. This one is a box set from Powerhouse Films, and it's called Mexico Macabre, 4 Sinister Tales from the Alameda Films Vault from 1959 and 1963. It includes 4 films: Black Pit of Dr. M, The Witch's Mirror, The Brainiac, and The Curse of the Crying Woman. This one has a bevy of features here. High-definition remasters for Black Pit for Dr. M, The Witch's Mirror, The Brainiac, and The Curse of the Crying Woman. Audio commentary with Abraham Castillo Flores, film programmer and curator specializing in the preservation of Mexican horror cinema, on Black Pit of Dr. M. Audio commentary with David Wilt, film historian and Mexican cinema specialist, on The Witch's Mirror. Audio commentary and brain nibbling with Keith J. Rainville, publisher from Parts Unknown and screenwriter of Los Campeones de la Lucha Libre, on The Brainiac. Audio commentary with Morena de Fuego, doctor in film studies and Latin American horror specialist, on The Curse of the Crying Woman. Daniel Ripstein on the history of Alameda Films and his grandfather, producer Alfredo Ripstein Jr. Author Eduardo de la Vega Alfaro on director Fernando Mendez. Author Eduardo de la Vega Alfaro on director Chano Urueta. I'm sorry I'm butchering these names. Author Eduardo de la Vega Alfaro and director Rafael Baladon. Memories of a Villain, TV Yunnan special and actor Carlos Lopez Moctezuma. Mondo Macabro, Mexican horror movies, episode of Pete Toombs and Andy Stark's fondly remembered British television series providing an overview of Mexican genre cinema from the 1950s to the 1970s. Original theatrical trailers, image galleries, promotional and publicity material, limited edition exclusive 100-page book with new essays by Jose Luis Ortega Torres, David Wilt, and Abraham Castillo Flores, archival articles, and full film credits, plus limited edition exclusive art cards. Really, really packed set there. And another genre that is worth diving into, Mexican horror. I think those would be very, very interesting, especially that early, 1959 to 1963. I think those would be really fascinating to watch. But I instead chose a box set from Severin Films, which just makes incredible, incredible box sets. And this one I really want to get my hands on. I don't know the cost right now. I'm going to have to look this one up because I really want it. And that is called Danza Macabra, Volume 1, The Italian Gothic Collection, 1964 to 1971. If that doesn't sound right up my alley, then you haven't been listening to Civil War very long, because that is really, really right in my wheelhouse. It includes The Monster of the Opera, The Seventh Grave, Scream of the Demon Lover, and Lady Frankenstein. So another 4-film box set. And boy, do we have some extras, so get ready. Disc 1 is The Monster of the Opera from 1964. Has a new 2K restoration from the original camera negative. Audio commentary with Kat Ellinger, author of Daughters of Darkness. Terror at the Opera, interview with screenwriter Ernesto Gastaldi. Capodimonte Gothic, interview with Italian film devotee Mark Thompson Ashworth. Radio Pulselli, archival audio interview with director Renato Pulselli. French trailer. Disc 2 is The Seventh Grave from 1965, which also has a new 2K restoration. Audio commentary with Rachel Nisbet, film critic and co-host of Fragments of Fear. 7 Graves and a Mystery, interview with film historian Fabio Malelli. And English Aesthetic with Giallo Blood, video essay by Gothic scholar and author Rachel Knightley. Disc 3 is Scream of the Demon Lover from 1970, which also has a new 4K restoration. Audio commentary with Rod Barnett, film historian and co-host of Nashi Cast. And Robert Monell, writer and editor of I'm in a Jess Franco State of Mind. Scream, Erna Scream, interview with actress Erna Schurer. In the Castle of Blood, a video essay by Stephen Thrower, author of books on Jess Franco and Lucio Fulci, and a trailer. And last but not least, we have Disc 4, Lady Frankenstein from 1971. This has a new 2K restoration from the original camera negative. Audio commentary with Kat Ellinger, author of Daughters of Darkness, and Annie Rose Malamet, film scholar and host of Girls Guts Giallo. Audio commentary with Alan Jones, author of Dario Argento, The Man, the Myths, and the Magic, and Kim Newman, author of Nightmare Movies. Meet the Baroness, featurette with actress Rosalba Neri and film historian Fabio Malelli. Piecing Together Lady Frankenstein, The Lady and the Orgy, documentary short on director Mel Wells. The Truth About Lady Frankenstein, which is a 2007 German TV documentary. Clothed Insert Shots, video short illustrating BBFC censorship cuts. Italian opening credits. Big Film Magazine, 1971 Italian Lady Frankenstein photo novel, extensive image gallery, home video gallery, radio spots, TV spot, and trailers. So to wrap up May 30th, we had The People Under the Stairs 4K and The Haunting 4K. That is a 1999 version from Shout Factory. And then we had that great box set, Mexico Macabra, 4 Sinister Tales from the Alameda Films Vault from Powerhouse Films. And my pick of the week, Severin Films' Danza Macabra, Volume 1, The Italian Gothic Collection. We also have a Maximum Overdrive Steelbook coming out this week, if that's of interest. And I'm trying to... my brother recently met the guy that owns the original Green Goblin head from Maximum Overdrive. There were several made. This one had the most screen time, I believe. And he restored it, bought it, restored it. He lives in Ohio now. And he takes it around to various horror cons and stuff. I'd like to get him on the show, so I may be trying to do that because I think that would be an interesting story. Somebody that owns such an iconic piece of film history from a movie that I personally love, even though it's kind of seen as by most people as a really not great entry in the Stephen King film canon, but I have a soft spot for Maximum Overdrive, of course, being filmed in my hometown. And of course, my brother is a Maximum Overdrive super fan, so it'd be really, really interesting to get him on. I also want to tell everybody that we have some great stuff coming up in May. We have, even though Brian's been dealing with his move and I've been dealing with some trips, and we haven't been able to keep on our regular recording schedule like we normally do, we have been working very hard behind the scenes to get content lined up for the rest of the year. So we do have interviews incoming. In fact, I'm doing an interview tonight, which I'm super excited for. We have some really big surprises in store in terms of the podcast itself. We've got a collaboration coming up that I'm extremely excited about that I think you guys are going to love. We got a summer slaycation that is themed in a way that we haven't done before, and I'm really excited to promote it. I can't wait for summer just so we can start promoting it, which is right around the corner. And we are going to do the summer the summer slaycation is going to be much earlier this year, so we're not going to wait. I know last year we waited till it seemed like we didn't get through with the summer slaycation until like almost October. But this year we are going to start it early so we can try to get it, in that June, July time frame. So look forward to that. I think you guys are going to love this one. It's not a long one. It's not like some of the epic ones we've done in the past 2 years where we did Puppet Master and we did the Universal monster movies. I think the biggest series that we're doing is around 8 films, and the rest of them are significantly shorter than that. So, doesn't mean we're going to put out less episodes. It just means that we'll be able to do a little bit better coverage of each series. We were kind of taking a break from the just ridiculously long series. And to be quite honest, there's not a whole lot of them out there that are as big as the ones we've already done, like Puppet Master and Hellraiser. So I think you guys are going to love it. I think you guys are going to love the theme of it. I know you're going to love the interviews. I know you're going to love the collaboration. And I'm hoping you love the surprises we have in store in terms of really trying to take the podcast to the next level. So again, thank you so much for your patience. I know our fans have been extremely patient with us not releasing regular episodes every week. And really even the communication hasn't been great at times because of our travel and our moves. But you guys have stuck with us, and we just want to promise you that your loyalty will be rewarded, because we do have just some fantastic stuff coming up for the rest of the year. And I'm probably more excited about the podcast now than I ever have been since we started the show. So that's always a good sign. So I hope you guys tolerated listening to me drone on for half an hour. Again, apologies that this is a short dismemberment, and then we couldn't get Brian here, but he's dealing with the move from hell, as he calls it, and so we wish him the best of luck, and he will be back as soon as he possibly can once he gets settled into his new place. So until then, guys, we will see you back here for our June Discmemberment. Please stay tuned to our socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and look out for upcoming episode announcements, as we're going to be releasing stuff kind of sporadically until he gets settled. And then once he gets settled, we'll be back on our normal schedule. So until then, take care, and we will talk to you soon.